Hello, one and all. Today on Riffs, Beards, and Gear, Mike and I compare and shoot out our childhood Peavey amps. All right, so Mike, in our guitar playing journeys, we have something in common that I think is cool, but also very interesting in that our first real amplifiers were Peaveys.
I think players of a certain age
You know?
often have this in common. And for a long time, I sort of thought, didn't look down my nose at my amplified past, but I was like, I'm moving on.
Sure.
And, you know, I've revisited this thing this year. This was my very first amp, and I'm pretty stoked about it. This is a Companion 15. Now, this is an amplifier that I have not seen at all. I've never seen another one. And I've talked about it here.
You have.
I've never seen another one in the wild.
I had never heard of this model before you mentioned it.
This is a 15 watt solid state, obviously solid state amp. One channel. This began my infatuation with single channel amps. This is how I've learned how to play.
Right.
So, one channel
Yep.
has a wall wart that plugs in here, or runs on 8D batteries.
Which is bonkers to me in 1986.
So 8D batteries, 12 volt power supply. You can run this off a car lighter power supply.
That's pretty cool.
It's nuts.
That is pretty cool. So this is configuration-wise slightly different than my amplifier, which is a Peavey Rage from 1989. Now this has a dedicated clean channel and dirt channels. However, it does not have the thick switch and the saturation switch. It's just basically a dedicated dirty channel with a 3-band EQ. It's pretty simple. This does not run on batteries. This is basically, as my understanding, was the next step up from the Companion. I don't think there was anything in between.
I can't imagine.
No, after the Rage, you then had
the Troubadour model.
Right. After the Rage, you had the Bandit, and then you had, you know, Supreme and Renown and all sorts of other combos. However, in the 80s heyday of Peavey, these were basically the amplifiers that you would see most beginner players playing. And
the Backstage was one.
Backstage. The Backstage, of course, the Decade. But I don't know the lineage specifically on how they relate to these amplifiers. I have been told that the preamp sections of the dirty channels are all the same across the entire line of amplifiers, and that the differentiation was the power handling and the speaker sizes. I don't know if that's totally true or not. However, all I know is I used to have 6 of these things plugged into a custom splitter made by my father, and I would show up to band practice with just a wall of Peavey Rages, and it was awesome. Pretty cool. We're going to shoot these out. Here's what we're gonna do. We're each gonna play our respective amplifier, and then the other is going to real-time turn the knobs while the other plays to give you a sense of what these can and can't do. We're gonna start with the Companion and then move on to the Rage. Let's plug these things in. All right. What do we think?
Pretty good at nasty, splattery, distorted sounds.
Yeah.
Not great at spanky clean. That's not really spanky clean. That was never a concern of mine. When I got this thing, I was just like, distortion. And, you know, this is the first thing I ever plugged an electric guitar into.
Right.
You sound better when it's distorted. Like the more gain you have, the more forgiving your sound is. And so I was, dimes all the way.
Your amp saturates in a very, very nice way, and I suspect it's due to the age of the speaker. It's very, I don't know, man. It's just a real nice crunch. It's not fizzy per se. I mean, obviously there's a lot of hair.
Sure.
But it sounds really musical, and I think it's just a testament to the build quality and the sound quality of the old Peavey stuff. Really, really great.
I spent a lot of time looking down my nose at my amplified past, and, my first 3 amps were Peaveys, and all 3 of them, the Bandit 65 and the Renown 400, were awesome, and they never let me down.
No.
They never broke down.
You know what? That's interesting. Out of all the ones I ever had, I never had a single problem with any of mine. Not a single thing. And I would use them inappropriately load-wise. I would be hooking up all sorts of different speakers and cabinets and taking the outputs and putting a jack on them and putting them in extension cabs, all sorts of stuff. Never let me down.
I would run this headphone out into the Peavey PA.
Oh my God.
And that was my guitar sound for jams with my uncle. The only reason, so I grew up, we've talked a little bit about this. I grew up very poor.
Right.
So food stamps and free lunch at school. The only reason I could get this amp and my first guitar is my uncle, who was a drummer.
Okay.
At work, he worked at Boeing, and he cut the tip of his finger off at work.
Whoa.
And so he got a labor and industries settlement.
Mm-hmm.
I think they gave him $4,000 for his finger,
Okay.
And he loaned my mom whatever it was, I think it was $200 for that guitar and this amp.
Wow. Oh, for both.
At American Music in 1986.
Whoa! I used to get mine at Don's Green River Music in Auburn, Washington.
That's it.
Yeah. All right. Killer classics. You can still pick up these amplifiers for very little money on the used market. I picked this up back in 2018 for what I think was about $60. I don't know what yours cost.
I think it was $65.
Yeah, really, really inexpensive. Famously, the Decade was used by Josh Homme. the Queens of the Stone Age records. That's kind of the secret to his sound. And these are very, very good for layering and just using in the context of a mix. Beefy, but small, huge punch. Shout out to Peavey. Thanks, Peavey. We will link down below in the description if you'd like to go check out more about the 80s Peavey's offerings. And with that, you've been wonderful. I've been Fluff.
I'm your pal, Mike.
We'll see you next time.